Good afternoon, viewers. First of all, we like to say happy holidays for everyone and also Merry Christmas for those who celebrate it.
Indeed, we hope you all have a holly jolly Christmas and enjoy your vacation with family and friends.
That's right. So, Olin, how was your Christmas this year?
To be honest, I became so busy, but I'm having fun in this whole season.
That's great to hear. Mine was I was gathering with the big family and having fun.
In today's segment, we turn our attention to a profession that ensures a product quality. A quality control inspector.
That's right, Olin. Quality control inspectors work diligently maintaining standards. They are making sure that good meets safety requirements and also customer expectation. Their role is essential across industry, from manufacturing to food quality control.
To give us a closer look at the daily activities and responsibilities of this profession, we now join our reporter Agista, who is currently with a quality control inspector who works at the bakery.
Let's see here with our coworker Agista. What had you learned with the quality control inspector today?
Good day, everyone. My name is Alya Agista, and I'm here with Jomana Romel, and we are here to ask her about her job. First of all, may we know your educational background, please?
Hi, so I'm Jomana. I graduated from high school with a degree in the sciences, and then I went to university and studied biotechnology and graduated from that as well, like a year ago. And just after a couple of different jobs, I started the latest job I have, which is the one closest to my educational background.
All right. And may we also know your skills related to your job, too, please?
So basically, for my job, I work as a quality control specialist at a bakery. And for that, you have to have a lot of certificates from different things to basically know all the food science rules. Because for food science, you have to know how long food can be edible, how long it can last before it spoils, the different type of spoilage, the different types of bacteria or fungus that can affect the food when it's not treated well or if it gets cooked incorrectly, and all of the different ways you can store it. So yeah, there's a lot of different certificates and trainings you could take to reach that level and be able to work as a quality control specialist at a food establishment.
Okay. So, your job is mainly about the conditions of the food and how long it can last and all of those stuff. Yes.
It's basically that and other stuff like basically keeping or organizing everything that has to do with the cleanliness of the workers there, the food itself, the place itself, because you could store everything correctly in a fridge, for example, but if you don't control the cleanliness of the fridge itself, then that can also be like the effect of the environment that could ruin the food. So it's not food science itself, but also the rules surrounding everything related. The chefs that handle the food, the containers you put the food in, because for example, if you put something in an incorrect container, it could end up spoiling due to high temperature, high humidity, all of that. So it has kind of a lot of different aspects to it.
So, with that in mind, may we ask about your career path or goals with what you have right now?
So basically, currently I work at a bakery slash restaurant, and the way my career timeline kind of goes, it's most people start from the start, so like at a restaurant bakery, and then hopefully within the next couple of years, I can then work at a bigger company, like for example, an international company or then a hotel, stuff like that. So you can keep the career trajectory going uphill.
Right. So, and with that goal in mind, we also would like to ask your personal strengths so that you would achieve those goals.
So in this job, it's not just like checking boxes and making sure everything is clean, but also you have to have a lot of social skills because you're going to be talking to chefs, to companies, to chemical companies, to cleaning companies, to the cleaning staff itself, to owners of different restaurants if like you want to get some connection next to you. So you have to have a lot of social skills, or if you don't have it, then you have to learn it. So I feel like that's something that I have gotten very good at it. Thankfully to this job, it kind of like forces you to learn social skills. You have to talk to different companies you work with, because for example, at a restaurant, you're gonna order ingredients from this place. So you're gonna have to be good at communicating to the other place, like the company or market or whatever that you get your ingredients from. Oh, I want it on top at top-notch quality. If something is wrong, you have to be able to return it and talk to the company. Hey, this went wrong. We need to fix it. Or if it's not fixable, then you have to have like you have to have a strong hand and be able to say, okay, no, we're not gonna continue working with you anymore. Stuff like that. And like how to discipline your staff if they're not following the correct food safety rules, like the bare minimum of the food safety rules. You have to be able to be like, yeah, no, you're not gonna keep doing that, or this happens, stuff like that. So I feel like the biggest strength I gained because of this job is like social skills.
So I'm guessing with the way you communicate in your workplace is that you have to be very serious with them. You have to be very direct with them as well. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Because a lot of people kind of want to take the easy road, but the easy road could lead to people getting sick if the food ends up getting expired or spoiled. So yeah, you have to learn when to say, yeah, no, we can't do that. You have to stick to the rules.
So with sticking to the rules and with the rules of communication with all of the other uh, people as well, it will reach your goal into being a good at your job. Yes.
Yes.
All right. And we all next is that we also want to ask you about the way you maintain your work ethics.
So basically you kind of just have to know where the baseline is. Like if you have to have for your own self certain rules that like no matter what happens, you're not gonna like betray these rules and you're gonna have to do it. And like know that your heart, the one place your heart has to be is like for the benefit of the restaurant or the company or whatever. So like you could be getting pressured by other coworkers to like, oh, let's not do this, let's not do that, but you have to keep your own, like have your own ethics and know, yeah, no, that's where my standards go and I'm not gonna go below that, or else it would affect my work and then it would affect the customers, which would then cost the restaurant like very big issues. So yeah, you have to just know your worth and know where your ethics lie and not go beyond that.
And that also connects to my next question is that uh, how are the way that you solve problems that appear in your workplace?
So basically, it depends on the type of problem. Is it a problem with another company that we're working with, or if it's a problem with one of my coworkers? If it's a problem with a coworker, I always know if it's like someone on the same level of me, like it's not a manager I'm having a problem with. Most of the time, you just need to communicate exactly what the problem is. Don't let it fester. You're just gonna get like hurt at the end, or the problem is just gonna keep going if you just try to ignore it. So with coworkers on the same level as me, I always try to just talk it out if there's any problems. Everyone like we have to tell each other if there's a problem, if someone is upset at something, stuff like that. If it's a problem at a managerial level, you have to talk to your own manager first and address the issue with them. and most of the time they're gonna help you fix it, or they're gonna fix it themselves if it's not something that you can like insert yourself with. If it's a problem with another company, that's like the number one thing to solve right then and that moment, because that will affect the customer straight away. It's not just like issues at work that the customer doesn't see. But yeah, so it just depends on the type of person you're talking to. Some people are not gonna like the very direct type of communication. So it's gonna depend on the person. After you work with them for a while, you're gonna learn how every person acts and how you should talk to them if there is a problem.
Thank you for answering that. Okay, so my next questions are, so what are the opportunities and challenges in your work?
So the opportunities, for example, is, as I said, it kind of forces you to learn a lot of social skills. You're gonna be learning quite a lot, how to communicate with different, like a lot of different types of people, how to communicate with your manager, how to address a problem, oops, how to address a problem without it turning into something bigger, stuff like that, how to talk to customers, because there has to be, even if like you are working for quality and control and you don't really interact with customers naturally, but if someone comes with a problem at the end, they're gonna let you handle it with the customer itself. So you're gonna learn how to talk to the customer, how to satisfy them and find a way to solve the issue without it becoming bigger, and how to learn from that issue and then try to let that thing never happen again, or at least try to prevent it as best as you can. So that's some of the opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities to like network if you want to find a different job in the future. There's a lot of networking going on, whether it's different companies you're working with, or let's say you have an event somewhere and then you end up meeting people from the same business as yours, but they work in a different company. So that's another opportunity to network and grow like your background and whatever you want to do in the future. Some of the challenges, honestly, it would just be depending on the people you work with. Like maybe some people are challenging, some people aren't as challenging. So it would just depend on the person itself. I wouldn't say there's specific challenges that every person working in quality control would face. It's just if the person is hard to deal with, then that could be a challenge. But like, I don't think there's anything too big to work with. There's always the pressure of, oh, the customer could get hurt if some kind of spoilage or expiry happens. There is that pressure, but if you're on top of your work, hopefully that wouldn't happen. So yeah.
So this question, the next question is going to go back about your skills in your work field. So what are the required skills related to your workplace? I know that it's correlates with your educational background as well, yes.
Yeah. So in university, I studied a lot of different types of sciences and stuff related. So food science was kind of like the basics of food safety and quality control. So there is some food science you should know about it, like the different kinds of bacteria, how they affect the food when the type of spoilage occurs, how that type of food gets affected and why it gets affected. Like if you leave it at, for example, 53 degrees, that's like above room temperature, so that's way too hot for food to handle, and then it's going to lead to X type of bacteria to end up forming, and when this type of bacteria ends up forming, then it would lead to this type of spoilage, and then after the person is affected with the different types of bacteria, what kind of symptoms they would have, if it's like just normal symptoms of food poisoning, and it would be fine like after a day or two, or if it would be lethal, like certain types of bacteria, if they occur on food, it's not just normal spoilage, it could actually be lethal. So there should be some basics on knowing the different types of bacteria, how they affect the food, how they affect the person. Because yeah, so some types of bacteria and spoilage are like very common, but they can be very lethal, and some people don't know about them. So if you can just get into it without knowing some basics of microbiology, then that could be a big problem. Um, Also, like how you're going to have a lot of documents to work with because legally, someone who works in quality control, they need to have a lot of documents available and like documenting, oh, this type of food was spoiled on this date with this quantity and this amount was thrown away. Or like, for example, you have to keep documents for the temperatures of the fridges and freezers, for example, because the fridge has to be between 0 and 5 degrees. The freezer has to be below 18 degrees. So you have to keep documents of these things, for example. So if you go through the documents and you find like, oh, the freezer didn't reach the temperature I wanted, then you would know, okay, whatever was in there probably may not have survived, and then you can assess the situation and see if it's fine, the food can survive for a little bit longer, or no, it's not fine, it needs to be thrown out straight away. So yeah, I would say a little bit of background in food science and then all the legal documents type of stuff.
Thank you. We also want to ask about the impact of technology in your field of work as well.
So part of my university is I studied the technology related to food safety because, for example, the very basics of biotechnology is the fermentation process. Fermentation process is both used in its helpful ways, for example, in making bread. When yeast is used to make bread, that's called fermentation. But also fermentation occurs when it's the bacteria is not used in a correct way and it ends up causing spoilage. So biotechnology was kind of based on that. So fermentation is like the number one technology that people discovered that you can use it for either for good or for bad, depending on how you use it and the quantities and the amount it's left, stuff like that. So that's kind of like the basis that started even people studying food science and how the different bacteria can be used either in a positive way or a negative way.
And will innovation and creativity affect your work, business, or just work?
I think in quality control, there is certain aspects that would require creativity. Like, for example, you have to know the correct way to store different foods, whether it's food that's going to be sold to a customer straight away or if it's food that's going to be kept in a fridge. So there has to be a level of creativity to know what type of container would you use to secure the food, so that like humidity doesn't enter and the temperature it's protected from high degrees of temperature. So there would be some creativity about like how to attract the customer to this type of container while also keeping the food safe. So yeah, there's a lot of different sides to food quality or like quality control that isn't just checking if the food is spoiled. It's also about the packaging you use. So I feel like that would require some creativity.
We have three questions left here, and one of the questions is the perspective of yourself about future remote work on your field.
I feel like it would be hard to do remote quality control because I know I kind of struggle with it on the weekends when I'm at home and like they still send me occasionally stuff that's wrong that happened at work, for example, so that I can fix it when I come back to work. But it's very hard to communicate without actually being there because you're going to tell someone to do something, but you're not going to be there to actually see it. So it would be hard to make sure that whatever you need to be done actually gets done because when it comes to food safety and customers handling food, it's like split second decisions. You have to make it like quickly and fix stuff quickly so that it doesn't affect customers. So I don't really know if remote work would be very easy to handle in this field.
Uh, how can you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now?
I like to think that I continue learning a bit more about microbiology, especially like food microbiology. So hopefully I would start getting my master's around next year. And after I'm done with that, I would continue working and building my career, whether it's going to work in hotels afterwards, because the career trajectory kind of goes like restaurants, hotels, and then like big international companies. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, I would continue learning, taking trainings, doing my master's, and then building my way to be able to work at a multi-international company.
And our last question is that what is your current motivation for your job right now?
As I've mentioned many times, I feel like my favorite part about my job is how much you learn socially and how many people you have to communicate with every day, and like you can't really even avoid it. So even if it bothers you at first, you kind of just get used to it, and it starts becoming just a big learning opportunity, and it's actually very helpful. So coming to work every day, like having a specific checklist in my brain of like I'm going to fix this and this and this and this, and then coming to the end of my shift and I'm like, okay, yeah, I did actually fix all of that, and there's no new problems to handle for the next day, and then I see where the next day takes me. I feel like that's my biggest motivation, just seeing, okay, yeah, there was this issue and I was able to fix it and everything was okay.
That was all very interesting. It was very interesting to know deeply and more detailed about your job on being a food uh what is it called? A food,
Quality control
yeah,
specialist.
quality control. So I just want to thank you for having this interview with me. And
Thank you.
yes, that's all that we need. So thank you.
Thank you, Agista, for that insight. It's clear that quality control professionals are vital in protecting both consumers and company reputation.
Okay, everyone, I think that is for today's segment. We will see you again in our next segment. Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.